Hey guys, I just wanted to make a quick video to address some things that I was discussing and some things that I said in my two previous Hangouts. Just a few points that I wanted to clarify because when I I guess rewatched or re-listened to the Hangouts, I think I kind of misrepresented myself. Like what I think I don't know, just the way that I said some things. I don't think that I was as clear about the context or the direction that I was coming from. So I just wanted to cover some of that stuff. I guess the first thing that I wanted to go over was in number two, conversational adventures number two. I was talking to Cliff and Joe and Tunar, and we were sort of talking about Joe's position on flourishing and certain things like that, and I basically stated that I would rather focus my time and energy on things that generally would promote human flourishing and well-being, rather than to worry about the religious issue or the religion issue. But I didn't really, and Cliff, I think Cliff said right after I said that, Cliff was, he said something along the lines of, well, you know, I mean, if I think it's fine if someone wants to come into a hangout and discuss, you know, this, that, and the other thing, but I didn't, for whatever reason, I didn't pick up on that when he said it. Otherwise, I probably would have just clarified it right in the video. But basically, what I was saying about the religion thing, that was completely in a political context. Like, if we as a global society were to pick, you know, a primary thing to be concerned with, I would not put religion anywhere near the top of that list, or at least probably not in the top three. But yeah, basically in a political sense is where I was coming from as a thing to do in that regard, and not in regards to my Hangouts. So basically, I mean, just to be clear with everybody, I will talk about pretty much anything. I mean, in all honesty, unless something is like a topic or a subject is like immediately damning, where like to openly talk about it and have the conversation be recorded would be like a serious legal or other, you know, complication like that, like something that could like immediately get me in trouble. I'll, you know, obviously steer away from that sort of thing. But other than that, though, in my Hangouts, the religion thing is always interesting to me to discuss with people and kind of find out what other people's views are on that. But aside from the religion thing, I mean, I literally just about anything. Like I said, that's part of the reason that I decided to name at least that series of Hangouts Conversational Adventures, because I just try to stay open to the conversation, and I try not to block out certain topics or things like that. And then on another, damn it, my phone, on another point, a lot of what I was talking about in my first two Hangouts there, a lot of it had to do with people's like behavior and stuff, and conversations on Google Plus, and at least in the more, you know, the religious discussion community on Google Plus. Looking back on like what I said and some of the stuff that I said, it seemed to me like I was kind of, if not asserting, at least kind of, implying that I know how to moderate people in this context, and that is just absolutely not the case. I think that if I were to say that I know that, or I know how to do that, that would just be an extremely ignorant and arrogant thing for me to say, because I have so little experience with communicating with people in this sense, that I mean I just have like no grounds to really make any absolute statements like that. And on top of that, I mean, socially, you know, I don't know. I think Cliff pointed out that he feels like he's pretty decent at doing that sort of thing when in person, but over the internet he hasn't figured out a way, like a productive way to moderate things in that sense. And in all honesty, I don't even really do it that well in person. So I mean, it's probably better to just leave that topic alone, I guess, past this point, and just at least for me, if other people want to bring it up or talk about it, that's fine. But I think I'm just gonna sort of lay that topic aside. But yeah, I basically just wanted to clear up any confusion that may have been surrounding that particular conversation. And then just one last thing. There was a moment in the beginning, I believe it was during maybe the first hour or so of number two, and Joe had asked me what my philosophical views are, and I I did what I would consider, I answered that question pretty poorly. I essentially what happened was he sort of asked me that, and I'm not like saying that Joe intentionally put me on the spot or anything here. I mean, he was just curious. So, and I'd be more than happy to answer. Well, I was more than happy to answer his question, but as far as my philosophical views go, I've actually been pretty reluctant to really look into anything up to this point. I have like no background in this, no education in this, and I really don't even know very many like terms at all. Like for example, Cliff was saying that Sam Harris is his position is essentially that of utilitarianism, and I didn't even know like what that was. I didn't even know that was a thing when Cliff brought it up. So so that's why I think when Joe asked me that, I've been reluctant to look into things because I more wanted to kind of come to my own understanding of things and my own approach of things, and then start looking into different philosophical views and worldviews and that sort of thing, because I didn't really want to come into this completely blinded and like just not even sure at all where I may stand, and then just sort of look at a list of philosophical positions and then just kind of go, all right, well, I'm gonna go, I'm gonna go with this one. That sounds good. I'll stick with this, because to me at that point it's almost like a religion. Like it's just, you know what I mean, like to just pick one set of views and to stick with that is a little bit more narrow than I tend to like to be. So essentially what happened was Joe asked me that, and I kind of panicked and like backpedaled a little bit, and then I just kind of went, Sam Harris, like just kind of blurted it out. Mainly just because he's one of a handful of people that I've seen in debates and lectures and that sort of thing, because his views were pretty interesting to me. Um, but yeah, I'm not, my philosophical position is not Sam Harris. So just wanted to clear that up. And then I guess just to wrap things up here, I just would like to thank Joe and Tunar and Cliff for coming into my Hangouts and talking to me. It's been real interesting so far, and whenever I decide to have another one, which at this point really isn't defined at all, I tend to be pretty sporadic and impulsive. So I guess whenever I have another one, I'll, of course, I'd love to have those guys back and talk to them again, and anyone else, literally anyone else that wants to come and have a discussion, as long as your goal isn't to derail the entire the entire discussion or the entire video, then you're more than welcome to come on in. Thanks, guys.